Excellent. Wow. Wow. That was pretty powerful. A learning opportunity. Renaissance Student, all is well? And all is in divine order. So this morning, I want to quickly challenge your brain to think some different things. I'm going to challenge your brain to think some different things. Now, if I'm talking to Michael on the street, I'll say some things. Challenge your brain to think some different things. But the scientists said that we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. Think about that. That's a lot of thinking. Catch yourself thinking right now. Are you thinking? 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. The unfortunate thing about that 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts is that 90% of those thoughts are repetitive thoughts from the day before, and the day before, and the day before. And so, some reason, we have a problem with changing our thinking. And what do we say in Unity? Thoughts in mind? Thoughts in mind? And so if we're in this repetitive cycle of recycling our thoughts, what do we get? More of the same. More of the same. And most of us come into this kind of spiritual community because we're committed to change, right? And we know the potential that we have, and with that potential, we want to move to a different place, a different space in our life, right? The things that we seen yesterday, we realize they are no more. The person we were yesterday can't exist today. Do we understand that? We're ever evolving, and that's the opportunity. I want to check your thinking this morning. Are you ready? Now, what I want to ask you, are you the thinker of your thoughts, or are your thoughts thinking for you? Are they making you think? I'll ask you again. Are we the thinker of our thoughts, or are our thoughts making us think? Who's planting those thought seeds in you? Is it you, or is it someone else? It should be you. You have the exclusive right to think what you want to think, don't you? But how many times does someone else plant the seed of thought in us and we think the thought that the thought gave us? Did you catch that? I'm trying to test my tongue twisting ability, knowing that I always had a speech impediment for 6 years of my life. But think about this. Are we the thinker of the thoughts that we think, or are the thoughts driving the thinking that we're thinking? And if it's both, it's problematic. It's problematic. If someone can plant something in you, or if a commercial can change your mood, that's problematic, right? We want to have control of our thinking. Don't we? Or do we want someone else to live for us, to think for us? Think with me. Pop quiz. Ready for a pop quiz? Pop quiz. A bat and a ball. Everybody knows what a bat and a ball are, right? Just thinking out loud. Want to make sure. A bat and a ball costs $1.10 in total. The bat costs $1 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? 9 cents. Somebody said 9 cents. 5 cents. 10 cents. Who says 10 cents? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Be proud. 10 cents. She said 1 cent. 1 cent. 5 cents. The answer is 5 cents. What we did here, remember, I'm a counselor. What we did is engage in intuitive thinking. We saw that, and very intuitively we said $1.10. The bat costs $1 more, and so we easily just went straight 10 cents. Got to be the answer. But look at that closer. Now, I want you to think about this. Take off your intuitive and go analytical. Do you see it? Do you see that it's really? Look, if you were to say $1.10, and the bat costs $1, but it's $1 more, You're stopping at it's $1. But it's $1 more. And so you can't have it costing 10 cents, right? Take a picture of that and study it at home. You have a quiz, a similar quiz every week from now on, Reverend Wilma. But that's what we do, don't we? At first glance, on sight, based on appearance, first impressions. We're so intuitive, we go with that gut feeling. I got a good feeling about you. I get bad vibes about him. And we go with that. But today, I want you in this space where ordinary just won't do. Can we just say ordinary just won't do? We're seeking the extraordinary. We're moving from ordinary as being okay, acceptable, a part of contentment. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm okay where I'm at. To move into the extraordinary. I need more. I want more because I know the potential that I have is that I'm supposed to rise to a higher and higher level of purpose. And I have everything inside of me to do that. But I have to move away from just ordinary. Ordinary just won't do. Extraordinary is what I seek. And so today, I want us to see ourselves with this cup in our hand and blessings being poured into that cup, and the cup is running over. My cup runneth over. And so there's many life situations that often requires the kind of resilience and determination that it takes to be extraordinary, to move from that ordinary life to the extraordinary life. You see, one thing Brett tells me, and he tells you all the time, Reverend Grant is persistent. He won't let us sit where we're at. He won't let us play small. And I come from a place of knowing what it feels like to stay in a place too long and it feels small and tiny, incapable. Can anybody relate to that? It's those situations in life, whether you're facing a serious injury or illness, whether you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, overwhelmed by financial burdens, pursuing education, career opportunities, navigating difficult breakups, divorce, separations, whether you're facing discrimination and racism, sexism, coping with the challenge of being a parent, dealing with a disaster, something that you never expected. All of those situations require us to think about the trauma and the drama that life brings with it. But someone said in a poem, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It said taxed and places on the floor, bare, no carpet. But don't you sit down because the road is tough. And so it is that we come into the situation of life with heavy burdens. And because of those experiences, there's this feeling of unforgiveness, the wounded hearts, and the sense of inadequacy. And then we get into this commercial plan where we tell ourselves, in our own commercial, we talk about the first part of a commercial, the intense pain of life. I'm still in shock by what happened because I didn't believe that it would happen. I'm not what I used to be. I'm not enough. I'm incomplete. I'm not ready. I'm living with a hole in my heart. I'm missing something. I'm living, but there's something missing. I'm broken. I'm broke. If you're thinking that way, chances are you're experiencing feelings of being depressed, defeated, devastated, deflated, and disillusioned. Can anybody relate to those feelings? Can you relate to those feelings? All of us can. The feelings, the emotions, because we put commercials in our head. And remember those 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts that we think a day? That commercial becomes a repeat performance of what happened. We've been talking for the last 3 weeks about forgiveness. Remember that? Forgiveness. And it's a process. Forgiveness moves into healing. Healing moves into love. But what we want to do is skip over steps and say, I can give unconditional love. And you can't, because we're not equipped to. Because we think love is just something you turn on. But it's not. Love is a skill. It has to be learned. It has to be practiced. Do we understand that? Most of us don't. And so we make those affirmations. I'm going to love unconditionally. Or we read a book and it tells us the path to righteousness is to love unconditionally. And we think we can do that, but we can't, because there's a process. You've been hurt. You've been wounded. You've been injured in a slip, trip, and a fall. Remember that commercial? Have you been injured in a slip, a trip, and a fall? Most of us have. And so when you are injured in a slip, a trip, a fall, a devastation, there's a need to enter that process. I recognize that I need to learn to forgive. I need to learn to heal, and I need to learn to love. And you can't skip out on that process. Now, the only problem is, ask me what the problem is. The problem is, most of us see ourselves in the scenario of being the prodigal son or prodigal daughter or Joseph. Now, the prodigal son or prodigal daughter made some bad decisions, drifted away from the home base, the foundational base, drifted away from the Father, drifted away from the Christ within, and decided, I want to try some things, and realized I gave up my inheritance. And now I find myself in the mud, in the dirt, trying to get up, but I'm wondering, is there a space for me to forgive myself? And is there a space where others will forgive me? And I don't know about you, but I can relate to that. I can relate to drifting off. And if you look at my jacket, it's Omega Psi-Phi. And for those of you who know what Omega Psi-Phi is, we're the wildest fraternity in the world. And Mama Joanne saw my jacket and said, oh, I didn't know your wife was married to a nasty Q. There's some things in my past. We're going to keep it in the closet. But many of us see ourselves as that prodigal daughter, that prodigal son, that we made some mistakes, some missteps along the way of life. We tasted some things, tried some things, slept with some people. We've done it all, haven't we? Tell the truth and shame the devil. We do. Or maybe you feel like you're Joseph. Joseph, his brothers deceived him, sold him into slavery because they were jealous of him. How many times have you been betrayed, devastated by a loved one? How many times have you been disappointed by a lover? We can relate, because last week I asked how many people have fallen in love and how many people have fallen out of love. And I told you the fall is great because there was no steps to love. And so you just fell head first in love. Didn't we? Didn't we? Thought we had it all. But whether you see yourself as the prodigal daughter, prodigal son, or Joseph, the need is to forgive. The need is to forgive. And I want to dabble in forgetting, because we talked about that, Steve. I can't forget. One of the things my mother used to tell me, whenever I'd fall down and get hurt, get a bruise, she'd say, boy, don't pick at that sore. Leave it alone. It'll heal. If you keep on picking with that sore, you're going to get an infection. You know what? If you stay around a wound too long, picking at it, and not just letting it heal, it'll get infected. And that infectious nature of the infection will be infectious to your life. And it'll take over you. And it'll take over your power. How many times have you stayed in a thought too long because it becomes a wound? And because you keep going back and picking at it and picking it and picking it up, it never closes and heals How many of us do that? There's people who make big money off that. We're going to put you in therapy for 30 years. I have a problem with that. I have a problem because every week that means we're going to go back, Reverend Wilma, we're going to revisit this wound that you have. We're going to open it back up. It'll never heal, right? Why not just let it heal and have the scar there? And let that scar be a scar of wisdom. Huh? I got some scars of wisdom on me. And that scar of wisdom becomes a well of wisdom that we can drip ourselves water when necessary from that wisdom well. So we don't need to keep opening up that wound. And so when I say forget, it's with the idea we don't need to reopen that wound every day, every week. And that's what we think we have to do. And that's not healthy. I'm adamant about this. As you can tell, I'm animated about this. There's some animosity in my field about this. Because if you're doing that to someone, taking their money and saying, every week we're going to go back and revisit your childhood, it's like, no. Process the childhood, take the wisdom from it, and walk on. I did pledge Omega Psi Phi. I was a sophomore, 19 years of age, didn't know what I was getting into, but I loved the colors purple and gold. Loved it. And the fact that they barked, woof, woof, woof. Loved it. But we pledged in the fall semester. And as the fall drifted into the winter, I found myself on one December day, me and my line brothers in front of the library. It's about 15 degrees outside, and the big brothers told us to go outside and serenade the campus with songs and poems in a T-shirt. And they said, you better not quit. Quitting is not allowed. Because if you quit on this opportunity, you're quitting life. And so one of the poems they said, little brother McIntosh, they really called me something else. I can't say in church, Michael. Get yourself out there. They really didn't say self. But recite Invictus. We're going to give you 30 minutes to learn it, word for word. We want to meet you back in front of the library. We came back. They put a matchstick in my hand. You know what a matchstick is, right? Then they lit it. They said, if you don't say this before this winds down, you're going to have a burnt finger. Is that ridiculous? But it's an incentive. That's when I knew what my mind was capable of because I had 30 minutes to learn it word to word. And so here I am, some 40 years later, and it is. I know it. All the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. In the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my faith. I am the captain of my soul. It's in the I am. And I didn't know that, Reverend Wilma, until probably 30 years later. It was all about the I am. The power of the I am. And the I am was not me in control. It was living the Christ-centered life where Christ was leading me and giving me the thoughts to think. And so it is this resilience, this determination in the face of adversity that we need to know about, become familiar with. I always say we have to get out of ourselves and move above our thoughts. Let's say that together. We have to get out of ourselves and move above our thoughts. But that's not enough. Because most people will tell you, say a prayer. Pray. Affirm your goodness, your greatness. But it's not enough. We've seen so many things. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, so it's not enough just to say a prayer and say affirmations, right? We need to know, right? The truth. I am enough. I matter. I am significant. I have a gift. I'm here for a reason. The gift will be revealed. And that's the truth. Think about that. If you were to wake up every day with this mindset, this clarity, and what is that? It's the truth of your being. And with that truth, you can be, do, have anything that you want. But you have to wake up with that mindset. It's mine, your mind over matter. Because the worldly things don't matter if your mind is thinking the right thoughts. Those 60,000, 70,000 thoughts. If you are the thinker of your thoughts, and you're guiding your thoughts, and we're going to practice this over the months, we will. But here's the truth. I am enough. I matter. I'm significant. I am a gift. I'm here for a reason. The gift will be revealed. And that's rooted in new thought. The affirmation is, I'm enough. Can we all say that? I'm enough. As is, I'm worthy of greatness, of success, of prosperity. I matter. I have an inherent value. I am significant. I can make a positive difference in the world. I have a gift. I possess unique talents and abilities. I'm here for a reason. I'm on purpose. I'm on time. I'm not late. I'm not early. I'm right on time. My gift will be revealed. And when I unfold, you'll understand that my presence is indeed a gift. You know, sometimes you invite people over and they don't understand etiquette. You ever had that where you invite somebody over and they don't understand etiquette? They run all over your house. They use everything. They don't put it back. They even write on your floor, right on your cabinets. They touch everything they're not supposed to. And you just wonder, where did they come from? Donnie, if you can help me out. We had this experience in our house. That's our grandbaby. She came over and she tore up the house. Her crayon, she got tired of writing on the boards, so she wrote on the floor and wrote on the cabinets and was touching everything, breaking some things. Then she got downstairs and she discovered a keyboard. She's 14 months. She can walk now. And she started playing music. She liked the sound. But then as you look closer to this, you understand that what she really likes is the light. Why don't we become light seekers and light lovers and move towards that light, away from the darkness? There's so many lessons from a baby. You know what was funny about the experience of having her over for 3 days and her wrecking the house? Is every time I tell her, no, don't do that, baby, don't do that, she just look and run, just hug me or look at me with those eyes and say, you can't talk to me that way. I know she can't talk yet, but that's what she was looking like. But what if we lived a life like a child, like her? She didn't care who was listening. All she knows that I'm making sounds. To me, it's music. I'm making light happen. And I don't care who's watching. I'm happy. So if you can just begin to love yourself, engage in that self-love, forgive yourself, I think you'll start to heal. And once you start to heal, I think you'll remember that you are loved, you're lovable, and your mission here on earth is to love. Renaissance Community, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Thanks for having me this morning. God bless each and every one of you.